Ukraine is poised to seize a critical piece of Russian territory, the modest yet strategically vital village of Tyotkino in Russia's Kursk Oblast. This potential victory is largely due to the superior aerial capabilities provided by Swedish surveillance aircraft and American-supplied F-16 jets. Before delving into the specifics of this operation, let's explore why Tyotkino holds such significance. At first glance, Tyotkino appears unremarkable. It's a small village on the Russian side of the Russia-Ukraine border, located along the left bank of the same river in Kursk Oblast, with a population of roughly 4,000. Numerous settlements of similar size are scattered along this border. However, a closer look at the map reveals Tyotkino's unique position. Situated on a wedge-shaped protrusion of Russian land that juts into Ukraine, it is bordered on three sides, south, west, and north, by Ukrainian territory, resembling a peninsula. Military expert Vasyl Pekno describes Tyotkino as a protrusion into our border, a result of the historically irregular and jagged boundaries between Russia and Ukraine. This geographic quirk poses a defensive challenge for Russia, while presenting a strategic opportunity for Ukraine. For Russia, Tyotkino is a vulnerable point that's difficult to protect but provides a direct route into Ukraine's Sumy Oblast. Controlling this village allows Russia to amass forces nearby and cross into Ukrainian territory with ease. For Ukraine, Tyotkino is an ideal target, as its forces could surround the village from three directions, overwhelming Russian defenses with a multi-pronged assault. Once captured, Ukraine could reinforce its position in Tyotkino and advance further into Kursk Oblast, establishing a protective buffer zone to deter Russian incursions into Ukraine's Sumy and Kharkiv regions. Given its strategic importance, Tyotkino has been a flashpoint for multiple skirmishes since the war began. In March 2024, the Freedom of Russia Legion, FRL, a group of Ukraine-based Russian dissidents opposing President Vladimir Putin, launched a cross-border raid on Tyotkino alongside other pro-Ukraine Russian factions. They briefly seized the village before Russian forces reclaimed it. In August 2024, Ukrainian troops clashed with Russian defenders in Tyotkino but failed to secure full control. Since May 2025, Ukraine has renewed its efforts to capture the village, initiating a bold incursion into Kursk Oblast just days before Putin's Victory Day parade on May 9th. This time, Ukraine's strategy appears poised for success, thanks to meticulous planning and execution. Ukraine's forces observed that Russian attention was diverted to other frontline conflicts, leaving Tyotkino lightly defended with only a small garrison. Recognizing this vulnerability, Ukraine seized the moment. Its troops amassed around Tyotkino, executing a pincer maneuver to encircle the village, while launching precise airstrikes on critical Russian targets in the region. These targets included fortified positions, command posts, drone operation centers, and troop concentrations across Kursk Oblast near the border. Each strike has eliminated dozens of Russian soldiers and destroyed vital military equipment and infrastructure. Over the past 2 weeks, at least 15 confirmed bombings in and around Tyotkino have resulted in approximately 300 Russian casualties, steadily eroding Russia's military presence in the area and clearing the path for Ukraine's advance. Russia, alarmed by the prospect of losing Tyotkino, has scrambled to respond. It rushed reinforcements to the village to prevent a complete encirclement, pulling reserve units originally allocated for an offensive in Sumy Oblast. Russia also had significant assets in the region, including 10 self-propelled artillery systems and numerous trucks carrying troops, weapons, and ammunition toward Kursk. However, Ukraine's forces anticipated this move. Through persistent surveillance, they tracked the movement of these artillery units and trucks to their primary base in Rilsk. Ukrainian intelligence also discovered that Russia was storing equipment in a local cultural center in Rilsk. Using US-supplied M142 high-mobility artillery rocket systems, HIMARS, Ukraine launched a pinpoint strike on the cultural center, obliterating the stored equipment and neutralizing Russian troops inside. Footage shared on the Ukraine 365 Telegram channel showed flames and dense smoke billowing from the destroyed building. Currently, an estimated 250 Russian soldiers remain trapped in Tyotkino, with Ukrainian drones and surveillance systems monitoring the area's roads, making escape or reinforcement nearly impossible. While ground operations are critical, Ukraine's most significant triumph in Tyotkino has been in the air, thanks to Swedish surveillance planes and American F-16 jets. According to Global Firepower, Russia boasts the world's second-largest air force, with over 4,200 aircraft, including 800-plus jets, 450-plus transport planes, 19 aerial tankers, and 600-plus helicopters. Ukraine, by contrast, ranks outside the top 30, with only 324 aircraft, including 70 jets, 24 transports, and 136 helicopters. Russia's advantage extends beyond numbers. Its Sukhoi Su-35 jets are among the world's most advanced, outclassing the older F-16 Fighting Falcons supplied to Ukraine. Developed by General Dynamics in the 1970s, F-16s were revolutionary upon release and have proven effective in numerous conflicts. However, newer aircraft have surpassed them. The Su-35, a 4.5 generation fighter, outperforms the 4.3 generation F-16 in several areas. It reaches speeds of Mach 2.25, over 1,700 miles per hour, compared to the F-16's Mach 2. The Su-35 is larger, with a 72-foot length and 50-foot wingspan, roughly 50% bigger than the F-16, yet its thrust vectoring engines make it more agile. Its Irbis-E radar can track targets up to 250 miles away, and it can engage with long-range R-77 and R-37 missiles, the latter capable of striking targets over 200 miles away. Given these advantages, Russian commanders likely expected their Su-35s to swiftly regain control of Tyotkino's airspace and repel Ukrainian forces. However, Ukraine's innovative tactics and allied support turned the tables. Aware that their F-16s would struggle in direct dogfights with Su-35s, Ukrainian forces prioritized early detection and long-range strikes to neutralize Russian jets before they could engage. This strategy relied on the Saab 340 airborne early warning and control aircraft, known as the S-100B Argus, supplied by Sweden. Equipped with the PS-890 AESA radar, the S-100B can detect targets up to 250 miles away, matching the Su-35's radar range and allowing Ukraine to spot Russian jets deep within Russian territory. In May 2024, Sweden committed to providing 2 S-100B Argus aircraft to Ukraine, enhancing its ability to counter Russian air threats. Using the S-100B's extended detection range, Ukraine's F-16S launched AIM-120 AMRAAM missiles, successfully downing a Russian Su-35 near the border. Drone surveillance confirmed the jet's destruction, with the pilot ejecting and taking cover in nearby fields. A Russian helicopter rescue team further verified the loss. On June 7, 2025, the Ukrainian Ministry of Defense announced the strike on X, stating, "This morning Ukraine's Air Force downed a Russian Su-35 in the Kursk region, a major milestone." This marked Ukraine's first confirmed air-to-air victory against an Su-35. Previously, Ukraine had downed at least 5 Su-35s, primarily using ground-based air defenses, such as US-supplied Patriot systems with PAC-2 missiles, with losses reported in May 2023 and early 2024. The recent air-to-air success demonstrates Ukraine's ability to challenge Russia's air superiority with older F-16s, leveraging the S-100B's radar and long-range missiles. With each Su-35 costing approximately $85 million, these losses inflict significant financial damage on Russia. This operation showcases Ukraine's resilience and ingenuity, using Allied-supplied equipment to overcome Russia's superior air force. By combining the S-100B's detection capabilities with F-16 missile strikes, Ukraine gained near-total air dominance over Tyotkino and parts of Kursk Oblast. Russian forces in the area are increasingly alarmed, with reports indicating that Ukrainian control of Tyotkino could lead to fortified positions, additional troop deployments, and further territorial gains. This would elevate Kursk's importance in the conflict, forcing Russia to divert resources from other fronts, such as Sumy Oblast, to reclaim lost ground. Such a shift could weaken Russian offensives elsewhere, providing Ukraine with opportunities for counterattacks or to reclaim lost territory. Alternatively, Ukraine might adopt a different approach, maintaining a strong presence in Tyotkino without fully capturing it, luring Russian forces into a trap.
As Vasyl Pekno explains, Tyotkino's strategic value lies in its vulnerability. We don't need to occupy it fully. By allowing Russians to enter this exposed wedge surrounded by our forces, we can set up ambushes. The Su-35 was sent to break our encirclement, but we can keep targeting their trapped troops and aircraft. Russia's political stance prevents a retreat despite it being the logical choice, so we can continue wearing them down.
Russia faces a dilemma. Its troops in Tyotkino are not fully cut off but cannot retreat due to Ukraine's ground and air dominance. Sending additional forces risks further losses to Ukrainian missiles and drones, while abandoning the village would hand Ukraine a significant victory. Ukraine's successes in Tyotkino mark a turning point. After years of defensive fighting, Ukraine is now taking the offensive, crossing into Russian territory and challenging Putin's forces directly. For more on Ukraine's recent victories, check out our coverage of the Andriivka liberation and missile strikes on Russian headquarters. Subscribe to our channel for the latest frontline updates.